Welcome back to Greater.inc, where you know you are greater than yesterday, but you'll be even greater tomorrow. Look, we have a special exclusive, Miss LaDonia Jefferies. Not only is she a mother, a teacher, a CrossFitter, but she is also her own business owner, Sweet Baby Beanie. Check it out.
The pleasure and the honor to sit down with the creator of Sweet Baby Beanie, LaDonia Jefferies. LaDonia, can you tell us first a little bit about yourself before we dive into Sweet Baby Beanie?
Sure. So I'm a mom, wife. I have two beautiful daughters, Eleanor and Emerson. I'm a teacher. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
Love the area, born and raised. And I'm an Aggie.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. I'm a CrossFitter.
Okay.
Love fitness. So that's what I am in a nutshell.
Cool. So tell us how Sweet Baby Beanie started and where the inspiration for that came.
Sure. So I was living in Cincinnati, Ohio at the time. My husband and I had just had our first daughter, and I was at home. I had left my job because I didn't feel like they were using me to my full capacity in the political arena, and as a political director. And so I was at home. I had my daughter, and things just weren't right for me. We had no family and friends. The friends that we did have, they were like more like associates. They weren't people that we spent a lot of time with and kind of met while we were there. And so I felt like I needed something of my own. As a mom, you feel this guilt about contributing to the household when you're at home. You also just feel as though if you lose yourself in motherhood. And I didn't want to lose myself in motherhood. Because there was so much more to LaDonia than being a mom.
Yeah.
And so, battling with anxiety, battling with postpartum depression, I started to crochet. And in that, I found a way to kind of control my anxiety. Also, learned to meditate and pray while I crocheted. So I started to sell them. And I also started to donate the ones that I sold to the NICU.
Wow.
So in Cincinnati Children's Hospital, I did a trade show in Chicago. It was Mommy Con.
Yeah.
And we sold a good number of beanies there. So I was able to donate, I think, over 30 handmade beanies to the NICU.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's really dope.
That's where Sweet Baby Beanie came from.
I understand. So, talking about mental health, because that's what you were going through. How important do you think that is, mental health, and being able to have an outlet or a hobby of your passion?
Sure. So I think you have to find what works for you. I was in a mother's group at the time, kind of talking through the issues that I was having, but having something that was just for me and that I could focus on was just very important.
Yeah.
I've always been driven, always been self-motivated, and so in order to kind of keep that energy, I started Sweet Baby Beanie.
Yeah.
I think it's just important as a mom and as a woman to have something that doesn't require anybody else. So that you can build on your own and that you can be proud of.
I love that.
So that's why.
I love the fact that you said earlier, I'm more than a mom. And that goes for a lot of people. I'm more than my job title. I'm more than this, I'm more than that. But I'm a total package. And I love the fact that you said, because of that, I want to start something of my own. Let's go back to the political director. What brought you to that?
So, in 2008, I had volunteered for President Obama's campaign.
Okay.
And then, full circle 2012, I ended up working on his campaign in Greensboro. And so, I was political coordinator for North Carolina A&T, UNC Greensboro, Bennett College, and 4 precincts in that area. And so, I was organizing early voting efforts, registering people to vote. Just getting the vote out. I had speaking engagements with Valerie Jarrett.
Wow.
I was able to kind of have an event at Bennett College with Kevin Hart and Trey Songz. We also did another event with Alicia Keys on A&T's campus.
I remember that.
And we marched from what was the student union to the Dudley building and had the students stand in line and vote, early voting before homecoming.
Yes, I remember that.
And we also had Fonz Bentley come to A&T's campus and helped lead a march to get students to vote too. So
that's super dope.
Leading off of that, we moved to Virginia, and I kind of continued to stay in the political arena. I did a couple of races, the Justin Fairfax Attorney General race. I did Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam, who's now the governor of Virginia. I did his race as a assistant political director and events director. coordinating his events in Northern Virginia and just kind of across the state.
Okay.
And then when we moved to Ohio, I became the political director for David Pepper for his attorney general race.
You crushed it out here. You crushed it. That's amazing. That is really amazing because, okay, in my personal experience, the women who get into politics, like black women who get into politics, they do it. And to hear you have done it, why did you feel that your talents weren't being used to the full capacity?
Well, I noticed that I created a whole political team for the race, and I realized that it wasn't being implemented. And so, I was the only African American on staff for that race, for that campaign, and I did not want to be used for my race. I wanted to be used for my brain and my efforts. And I felt as though my voice wasn't being heard, and that I just wasn't being taken seriously as a political director. And I knew I could win. I had done it in Virginia twice. I helped to do it. Greensboro went blue. North Carolina went red in the bottom race. But Greensboro, Clifford County went blue. So I knew that I could do it. I just needed the support, and I wasn't getting that. So I decided to leave. And he didn't win that race either.
He didn't win that race. So thinking about African American women in the working environment or in the corporate or political sector, why do you think there's a glass ceiling, and do you think that it'll ever be broken?
I think it's already broken. I think what we're seeing now is you're seeing this wave of African American women in politics, and we are striving for new positions every day, and not just in politics. We've got judges, we've got lawyers, we've got police chiefs who are now African American, and I think there's this stereotype of African American women being powerful and aggressive, and sometimes the two just don't go hand in hand. I can be powerful and confident. I don't have to be powerful and aggressive, right? And so I think smashing those stereotypes is important. I realized that in the political arena when I did work there, I always had to be over friendly. I had to smile a lot. I had to also be very assertive. I raised money for the politicians I work for, and so you always have to just kind of stand your ground and let people know what you're about, what you're not about. Because you're not just protecting yourself, you're also protecting the candidate. And so Black women, there's this constant battle of the line between being very aggressive, very assertive, and just being seen as angry. And I was seen as angry a lot. I did at a campaign event, standing there, observing the room, making sure my candidate knew who to talk to, and people say, you should need to smile. And I would go, why? Did you say something funny? I'm not angry, I'm not upset. I'm doing my job. And there was one particular event that we had, my candidate was speaking with Bill Clinton in Norfolk, and I met Bill Clinton, and he was like, you're doing a great job, and, you seem to be really confident in your job. And I was like, wow, this white man can see it, but, like, other African Americans, neither are people of color, and a lot of white women couldn't see it. And so it's a very just interesting dynamic that comes into play.
Why do you think people are intimidated by assertive, confident Black women?
I don't know. I think, who wouldn't want to be a Black woman? Right? And so I think some of that comes into play. I think that some people just aren't comfortable with, and I don't even think it's just Black women. I think some people aren't comfortable interacting with people of color. They're not sure how to or what to say. And so when they do, someone's like, I got to break the barrier first. But, it's okay. I'm a human being. I have a life. Like, I have thoughts. I have interests that go well beyond what you could think of in the scope of my skin color.
That's beautiful. I think you're absolutely hitting the nail on the head with people don't know how to approach you. Because Black women are the strongest women on earth. So,
I agree.
Everything that Black women go through on a daily basis, just from simple stuff as like your hair and how you have to wear that to how you have to present yourself.
In the political arena, I would have never worn my hair like this.
I believe that. Actually, I know that.
It was always very groomed and very straight, and it was always this appearance of just being clean cut. In that arena, which is changing now. There are a lot of women who are changing that. So that's awesome, natural hair.
Okay, let me ask you about this. What about the young girls who are like getting sent home at Catholic schools because of their hair or their appearance? When everything's in school standard, but they're being sent home because of their ethnic culture.
I think it's very frustrating. My daughters wear braids, beads and braids, what they love. It's a great hair protective style. It's frustrating to think that just who you are is a problem, and that at young age, little girls are being told that they can't live into their fullness, that they can't be who they are fully and completely.
Yeah.
And I think that's an issue. I mean, girls, period, are told all the time to be quiet, don't talk, don't be loud. Don't be your full self because you're a girl. And to be told that your hair is against some kind of code, it's ridiculous. It's not something you can change. This is the hair that you're born with. And so for someone to say that it goes against what they believe and they're offended by it is absolutely absurd. It's just absurd. And I think that, people kind of should take the stance the military has, because the military has now accepted braids, natural hairstyles, as being military approved. And I don't know how you think you're from the military to say that natural hair is not appropriate. And so it's a bit frustrating. And I think one of the things that's important for my husband and I is to raise our children in Black culture and for them to be very proud of Black culture. I mean, we want them to have a cultural background where they can interact with all cultures, but like building confidence in themselves to say, no, I love my braids, I love my hair, is important.
Yeah, that is very important.
It's important. Because you're more than your hair, and people should know that. You're more than your hair, Zach, and people should know that.
I am more than my hair. I cut my dreads.
You're more than your hair.
So, your mom, you do CrossFit, you're a teacher, you have your own personal time, you're a wife, you're a daughter, and you're a business owner. How do you manage all of these things? And how do you make sure that people never see you sweat?
People don't see me sweat. I feel like they do. So self-care. CrossFit has been the greatest outlet that I have found. It's an instant stress release. I get in there, I get my workout done, and then I kind of have a clear head. And then just spending that time with God in the morning, saying, hey, God, like, more of you and less of me. So I depend on Him almost totally completely for everything. Like, I have an agenda for the day, but like, if God decides that that's not what I need to do, then I don't do it. And really working to balance. I have a really good husband. He really helps me to balance everything that I've got going on, everything he's got going on. It's a constant juggling of who's doing what. And communication's key. So talking through, like, what you have going on today, what do I have going on today, how the kids fit into play, and when is our time? You gotta have that time, right? Like, kids can't take up the whole marriage. And so just communication and juggling it all and being willing to say no. There have been some times where I just have to kind of say no to some things and realize that it's okay to say no, and that no is a complete sentence. I don't want anyone.
No is a complete sentence.
I don't want anyone an explanation for why I'm not going to go.
I like that.
Just say no.
No.
Just say no. So you have time for self-care, and I think there's this misconception of like my free time being time that's available for someone else, and that's just not the case. My free time is my free time to do what I need for myself, and you have to draw those boundaries and prioritize. Some things just not as important, and if it's not going to make an impact in my life, my kids' life, my husband's life, the next 3 to 5 years, I'm okay to say no.
I like that. So, last question for young women girls to young women who want to follow their dreams or are struggling and they want to have an outlet. What is your advice on them to live in their full self, to experience all that God and life has for them, and not to say no to their own opportunities?
I would say make a plan. Put it on paper and make some small goals. Like, there's the big goal, there's the big dream, but make some day-to-day goals as well so that you can still accomplish what you're going after each day. And find support. So find your tribe. Sweet Baby Beanie always say, like, find your tribe. And, my tribe is friends, family, mentors who have helped me along the way.
Yeah.
And that's important to have that support. Before, I send an email out sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll run it by 5 other women and say, how do you read this?
Yeah.
What does this sound like? Like, what's your perception? What's the tone here? And should I change the tone? It's okay to get that support and have those other eyes when you're making these moves. Because someone has traveled this road before, and you're not the first. So don't do it alone if you don't have to. Just don't do it alone. Get a mentor, make small goals so you can mark things off the list every day to keep working towards what you want.
Well, you heard it first here. I'm Zachary Tanner. This is
Ladonia Jefferies.
And you are greater than yesterday, but you'll be even greater tomorrow. Peace out.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Women Crushing It Wednesday. Look, you can find Sweet Baby Beanie on Instagram at Sweet Baby Beanie, one word, and you can buy some merchandise from her off her website, sweetbabybeanie.bigcartel.com. Now remember, you're greater than yesterday, but you'll be even greater tomorrow.